Welcome everyone from Alexis Recruitment to your very first viewing of your brand new system, Adapt UX. My name's Michelle and I'll be your trainer throughout your 4 webinars. Now, my job really is to get you excited about your brand new recruitment tool and to get you started up and navigating around the new system. So we've got 4 webinars for you. This very first one, as we can see there by the title, is just getting you started on the system. So again, we can see there on the slideshow that it's about today creating candidate records and also client records in the system. So let's have a little look at the agenda in a bit more detail. So I hope you're excited to get your new recruitment tool and start looking through that system. First of all, what is Adapt? So Adapt is a web-based system that you'll soon see shortly, and it's a 360 recruitment tool. You can do everything on there from business development. You can log and manage KPIs through there in your activity or your team's activity. You can, of course, run extensive and complex searches or simple searches, of course, as well. So many things you can do. But for today, we're going to keep it simple, especially in this first webinar today. So first thing we'll look at will be the interface. How does it look and feel? And then really, how do we just start navigating about and finding key records in the system? After that, we'll look at one of the most important things to begin with, which is how do we get a candidate onto the system? Now, there's 2 ways to do that, via CV import, and also you can manually create a candidate if you need to. So we'll just take a little look at both of those shortly. Then after that, creating new companies on the system, which we call clients in Adapt, and then adding on key contacts as well. So it's just getting you a feel of those key records in the system. Now, should we take a look? And here we are in your brand new system. So this is Adapt UX. This is your first look and feel of the system. Let's start by looking how it appears. So you can see it's nice and sleek. It's got a real modern feel. We quite, in the last year or so, changed to Adapt UX. So it's got a really nice look about it. You can see nice icons on the top. It looks quite modern, I think. So let's just run through the view of it. So here you can see I've got my name here. This is where you can log in and log out. And then we have a nice Google style search bar, which we'll look at shortly. Now, along the top here, you might think, what are these little icons? Now, the idea behind these is really about your diary management in the system. So if I click here, you can see I've got a number 1 here. This is my calendar. It will always show you when you click on that today's date and any appointments that you've got due. You also have the option to go to your full calendar from here. Now, a really key thing to know at the start is that any appointments that you put through the system, so you come into Adapt, you go in there and you arrange a client visit, as I've done here, it will appear in your calendar in Adapt, like you can see, but anything you create will also go through to your mailbox, so to your Outlook as well. So everything runs through Adapt, so it keeps your calendar completely full and matching, so you can't double book yourself. You've also got key tasks in here as well. So clicking on this icon, you can see tasks that are due today. I've got none, but I have got 10 overdue tasks. So it might be I've done all those tasks. You just need to go back and complete those. And we also have a little alarm there that connects to some of those tasks. So you can see how easy it will be to be able to manage your diary just through the system there. Now, over on the left-hand side here, you can see all your different tabs, and we'll run through a lot of those in the 4 different webinars. So we've got My Adapt, so that's things relating to you. So things, like I said, like your KPIs, your own personal calendar there as well. We'll be looking in the first webinar at people. So that's your candidates, and that also includes your contacts there. So people that work at the companies you're working with. We're also at the company, so creating a new client on there. And then later on the other webinars, we'll go and look at jobs and also searches and reports as well. So there are kind of your key areas there. So we'll focus first of all on people and companies. So just getting started on the system, I'm sure you're already thinking, I know where she's going to go next. If she wants to just find a record, she's clearly going to go up here to this nice little Google bar. So in the system, we call this fast find, and it's just to differentiate between full searches, which you've got over here. So it's just if you quickly want to find a record. So you can see here, you can either find a candidate, everything, clients or jobs, so everything just covers everything else. And you can go to the top there and see I've typed in earlier on Ruth. So if I then clicked on the enter key or search, what it will do is it will just bring up, as you'd expect, any results with the name Ruth in it. So just to explain about the system here, so you can see I have got one contract candidate here with the name Ruth, and then I've got permanent, I've got two, happens to be the same person, so it'll show a duplicate, which you shouldn't get in your system. I'll explain duplicates a bit later. You've also noticed here you've got temporary, you've got two different Ruths as well. So a good thing to note at the start about the system is that a candidate is not only a candidate in the system, but they have a defined role. So they're either a temp candidate, a perm, or contract by default. So that's their preference in the system. But they can be multiple. So one person could be interested in all different types of work. So they technically could be each type of candidate. So I'll show you what I mean by that a little bit later. Now we can see we just have the basic information in here, which is their first name and also a contact telephone number there. Now on the right hand side, you do have a favourites list here. So favourites are a really nice little thing in the system where I'm sure like a lot of you still like to write kind of notes. You've got key people you're working with or key jobs every day. A way to create kind of like a list of your key favourite records that you're kind of constantly going in and out is by just clicking on the little favourite key here, and then that will create a list of you, list for you, sorry, on your home page. So I'll show you later where you can see your full list of favourites. That is a list that's personal to you, so only you can see them, and it's something you can't search on. So it's just kind of a nice little list you can look at. Now, to go into a record, quite simply, you just go to the person ID and then click on the number, and that will take you into the person's record. There we go. So that's how simple you can use the fast find at the top. Now, something else you can do in here, if you could put in the system, maybe the first few letters of a name. And then what you can do, as long as there's 3 digits and you put an asterisk in, it will widen up that name for you. So, you know, everyone's got a name, but they can't remember how to spell, whether it's a first name or surname. You can see in here, if I put M-I-C-H, it will bring up Michael, Michaela, Michelle. So if it's a name you can't think, oh, I can't quite spell that, pop it in, the first few digits and asterisks, and that will widen up that search for you. So that's kind of how you can search for things in the system. I'm on candidates, you can see it's in blue. If I was looking for a client, I'd simply drop down and click on the client bit there. So that is your fast find. Now the second quick option is if I went to the people tab here and I click on the home bar there, people and home, you'll see here on the left hand side that I can look for the type of person that I'm searching for. So I understand you both work with both permanent candidates and contract there at Alexis. For today, we're just going to focus on permanent because I think that's the kind of thing you focus on the majority of the time. So if I click on a permanent candidate here, lots of options pop up here. So I can search for someone again by name, telephone number. That's a really nice one. So if you do have caller ID, which most of you probably will, you can pop in either an area code or the full number and click on find, and that will find that person. That's one of our key ones actually. People usually love that telephone number search. You can also use this up here. It doesn't have to be name. It can be any of these kind of options as well. So again, I'm just going to look for someone on here. So let's go with, what should we go with? Shall I just go with James? That's nice and easy. So I'm looking for a permanent candidate, name's James. Of course, in the real world, you'd know which James it is, so you'd probably put in the full name there. And that brings up a list of people here on the right-hand side. Now, currently, I can see James's full name, his status, so registration incomplete. So he hasn't been in yet for registration, town and postcode. So you can see kind of key bits on him there. So we're just going to go into the record now. So I'm going to go with James Blunt. So to go into a record, it's important to know these tick boxes aren't needed for that, and they are actually used for things at the bottom here, like either updating favourites or deleting people. So based on deletion rights, just to let you know, most people don't have deletion rights, only super users, or it will be your on-demand team at Bond. So to actually go in the record itself, it's always hovering on that or clicking on that blue hyperlink, the name itself, and that will take you into the record. So this is your first view of a record in Adapt. You can see this is a person record, and we always know what record type we're in because on the right it will tell you here, and this is how it looks. So how nice and neat is this? So record types and adapts are very, very similar. So you'll see once you've seen a person one, then a company one and a job one, they've got a similar format. And I'm just going to run through that format now, and it will just get your eyes kind of familiar of where to look for key information. So on the right here, you can see this is where I can favorite somebody. And it's also where I can close the record when I've finished working with this person and done what I need to do. Over here, we have got some key icons here. So lots of things you can do for the candidate. These are all what I would call actions. So things that you need to do or want to do in the system. So you can see, for example, here, if I've spoken to James or he's a new candidate in, he's applied for a certain job, I can shortlist him straight away to that job just by clicking on the shortlist button there, typing in the job title and linking him through, and he moves straight to that shortlist. You can also arrange internal interviews. So in the ADAPT system, that just means them coming in for registration. So we'll do that shortly. You've also got here key communications. So you'll be now running all emails through the system. So that's your email icon, and also logging phone calls in the system as well. Now you've got an activities list here. The activities list reflects a lot of the icons we've seen. So you can see in here, I can still send out that email. I can log that phone call, but there's just lots of extra things we can do in here as well. So again, we'll look through a couple of these shortly. And the last thing to remember here is at the moment, you can see that we're in the profile page here of the candidate. Now, most of the key information you'll need to see about the candidate will be on this front screen. So let's have a little look through what we can see on here. So we can see a lot of key contact information here. Also, the status is available on the very front screen, which is really important. And you'll see that as we run through today. You've also got things you can update in here, like available from, notice period, and also things like what's their minimum salary or minimum rate. Now, if we scroll down a bit further, we do also have a communication history box here. And what that's showing you, it's showing you the last few actions run on the actual candidate record itself. So we can see the recruiter, the workflow that was actioned, and we can always see a nice time and date stamp next to that. And you can kind of scroll through the last 5 or 6 things done there in the system. Now this is called your journal, and it's just a full audit trail of everything that's been done with the candidate record. Now scrolling down, I love this bit, so are you ready? You can see the candidate CV. As long as that original CV is attached, you'll be able to scroll down it at any time and have a little look through. Perfect when you want to see and match them to a job, or when you're chatting to them on the phone. Now to the left-hand side here, we'll see any skills, industry sectors or job categories will be actioned over here or listed over here. Again, you can see there aren't many here, so we'll go through shortly and build up a new candidate and see how these look. Now, as I scroll down, you can see CVs. So this is the actual physical original CV. So at any point, you can just click on that and open it up and have a little scroll through. Now, profile, I'll show you how that's used. So once you've done candidate profiling, it's perfect to add those notes in that box there. And at the very bottom of the page, we've got any assignments. So this will include any previous work history before they've come to you at the company. So it'll pull over from their CV any previous work history, and then any current roles that they're in, they'll also be listed here. So it's got full assignment history or work history on here. So really useful information there on the key candidate profile. Now, down from the drop down here, we call these pages. So we've got different other pages. So you might be really compliance based. So you want to click in the compliance page and then go and update things. You might want to go and look at any interviews or how many interviews the candidates had with different clients or how many times they've come to see you. So again, we'll run through the page options. So we've really got the icons, activities, and these are all workflows. And then we've got page options in here. Now, let's go and look about how we can get a candidate onto the system first of all. So the best way you can do this, and the easiest way, would be to import them in by their CV. So to do this, we come over to the My Adapt tab over here and scroll down to the CV import button. So this is the best place to get started. Click on that button. And then on this page, you'll see a very white space. So on here, the only thing you can do at the start really is to upload those CVs. So if I click on that, first thing you'll be able to do is pick your candidate's default preference. So in this instance, you'll see we're going to work with permanent candidates. And you'll notice there's a few options of where we can pull that CV through. So either we can pull it through from a folder, so on your system, something you've attached it to, or from your mailbox, which is the preference one, so you'll see that soon. And you do have a third option if you've got your own website, which I'm sure you guys do. If candidates are uploading their CVs onto your website, you can also pull the CVs straight from there. If this is something you want set up, you just need to let your account manager know. So let's just run through a couple of these shortly. I mean now. So first of all, let's just pull them from a folder. So if I click on folder, you just need to click on add files. And then from here, just go and find your CVs. So if I find mine, some I prepared earlier for you lovely folk. Now you can add each CV on individually, so there might just be one, but one of the nicest things in the system is that you can just go and add several CVs at one time. So if I click on Davina there and click on the control key on your keyboard, I could then go to Peter Jackson or as many people as you want, click on them, and then when you're ready, click on open. This will add them here and then click on upload, and that will pull that information through. So you can see on the right here, it will tell you the CV parsing is in process. And all this means is what it's doing at the moment is trying to look for those key skills from the CVs and pull that information over. Now, the other way to upload is if I click upload again and now go to mailbox. Now, it's important to make sure that in your Outlook, again, you've got some emails there with new CVs that you of candidates you want in the system. You can go in and click on either one or click on more than one. And then if we go back to adapt, click on mailbox, you'll see you'll get a little box that pops up like this telling you how many emails are selected, and then clicking on OK, that will just pull those CVs in to the same place as before. There we go. So the parsing process is beginning again, 0, 50% and ready. So look how speedy that is. So we always recommend in training that at this point, you just go on to the actual CVs, have a little look through and kind of check that information. So I would always do that at this stage. So let's begin with Davina. Makes sense. So if we click on the actual document in grey, what that does is it will open up the file, and on the right hand side, you can scroll through your candidate CV here. Now the left-hand side is the actual information that's been pulled over from the CV, and this part, when we go and import it shortly, is the information that's going to create that candidate profile. Now there are 4 mandatory fields that do need to be completed for you to be able to create a record and adapt, and you can see they're in red here. So we have first name and last name, and scrolling down a little bit further, we also have in there home email address and mobile number. So you can see in here that we don't have the mobile number for Davina. Now, it should have pulled over. You can see it hasn't here. So this will be okay when you go live on your system. But if I just show you how easy it is to select it, drag and drop it. So if you didn't have a bit of information, then you would just go and pop that on just like that. Or, of course, just type it in. Now, we've got contact information at the top here. We've got address over here, contact information, and then this is one of the most important things for me, so skills. Now, on this kit, I'm just on a training system at the moment, but you guys will have your skills relating to the job types that you work with and the candidates that you're looking for. And they will be personal codes listed right from you guys put into your system. So you can see from here, it's pulled over email, internet, help desk. So what I would always do here is you can see in blue, that's the skills section. So it's looking for things in blue. So if we scroll down, it's got email in blue, help desk, and email again. And so you can just go and have a little scroll through. Now, the reason it's important is what you're doing now is really setting up that profile to think, what do I want to be able to search for? So when I look for this person, when I look for Davina, when I look at these skills, do I want her to appear in that list? And a perfect example for that is if we had French in here as a skill maybe that's being pulled over from the right hand side, it could be that she worked for French Connection, for example, and it's pulled over that word French. So it could have done that. So what I'm trying to say is it's just key to make sure that the word it's pulled over in the skill section is applicable and is an actual skill that the candidate can do. You've also, if we scroll down further, see all the work history that pulls over. And at the bottom, you'll also see industries and industry sectors as well, along, can't get my words out today, along with job category as well. So again, double check these. I'm sure these ones will be fine. It's just their job titles. And once you're happy with that, you can just go and click back on the document and then continue working through the rest. Now I'm just going to go and double check that I've got my mandatory fields in all of those completed. So we don't in here. Just make sure we've got a few bits in there. There we go. That's fine. Okay. So if you want to go and then import them in, what you can do at this point is go and tick next to status, and that will highlight all those CVs. So you can see they're all highlighted, and we now have the option to import. So clicking on that button there, that will start. Now we're now creating the records in the system. So you'll see it's slowly rising, and the candidates are now going into Adapt. Now you can see in here that one person's got missing information, so it says missing email and telephone number. So just to show you really what will happen if you don't put in that key information at the start, it will just reject that. So you just have to go back in there, double check you have the information, or contact Paul, come back and put that information in, and then come back in and tick him, and then go and import again. Now, if you want to go and find your candidate, what would you do? So you can come up the top here, or there's another place. So if I go to My Adapt and Home, this is a lovely homepage which will show you all the kind of things that you're working on at the moment. So if I scroll down under searches, you'll see it will show you every time you import people into the system, it will show you your list of the last few people you imported. So I've got 3 results there. If I click on that in blue, it will show me all the people I imported there. So I'm now going to go and click on Davina, and that will take me straight into her record there. Now, key things to remember is when you've got a new candidate in the system, you'll see their status is registration incomplete. So what we'll want to do is later on, we want to get them in, meet the person, if they're good enough, of course, and then you'll notice that we need to go and make a change on the status a bit later on, but that's how they always come into the system. Now, let's imagine if Davina's just applied for a job, or she sent you her CV in response to an advert, so you've imported her into the system and you want to give her a quick call. So you'll click on this icon here, log a phone call. And from here, you'll see anything that's in red is a mandatory field in the system. So we've got call type. So clicking on the black file will give you the options of what you can pop in that call type box. So we have call made, call received, or canvas call. Now, canvas call just means anything that's business development related. So in this instance, we're going to say call made. So I've called Davina. I've had a little chat with her, and I've arranged for her to come in for interview tomorrow. So you can write your notes down there, as you can see. Now you do have the option in here to say next call date. So if you do need to do any follow-up calls to Davina, maybe you have to get back to her about something, you can put in a call date on there. The clock means today's date. You can scroll through or use the calendar and also put in your time you want to call her. So not only can you log the call nice and quickly on here, make your keynotes, but you can also arrange follow-up calls, which will be a task in your queue. How good's that? Okay. Right, so clicking on confirm, that's logged that call. And we should be able to see our communication history has been updated. So you can see call made logged, arranged to see me tomorrow, and the recruiter did it, which is me. Now, once that's happened, you've logged your phone call. We're now going to go in the system and arrange the interview. So on this icon here, where 2 people meet, you can click on internal interview. And this will bring up this box for you. So you'll be able to see in here again, key information needs to be in red, so that needs to be in there. Now you'll see on there, the interviewer will always be your name in there. That can be changed if you want to, but it'll probably be you. And you've got the option in here, you've got interview stage is first interview. It's always that one for an internal interview, unless if you guys do Skype call or telephone your candidates first of all, you can select the telephone interview option down here. I'm going to stick with first interview because she's going to pop into the office. Now, send docs by means how are you going to let the candidate know about the interview? So from the Black 5, we've got the option of post, not sending anything out, or confirming by email. So we're going to confirm by email today. Now, on the right-hand side of your system, when you go live, your office address will be listed here, and that will pre-populate on your email. Now, you'll see here the candidate name is pre-populated. All we've really got to do is put the time and date in there, and that's it. And then you can just confirm, and this will arrange your internal interview for you. Now, what that's doing there, it's pulling up your template for your email, and if I click on OK, you'll see I've got a nice email that pops up to Davina explaining her interview time and date, who it's with, and the address will also pre-populate. Now, you're in Outlook, it's just popped up a nice email for you. You can go and attach anything like you normally would, type notes in and make it more personal if you want to, and then send when you're happy. So how not easy is that? So now what will happen, if I go to my drop down here, a thing to show you with a drop down here is that we've got tasks, that's in relation to Davina. So if we click on that, we'll see we've now got an internal interview task for tomorrow. It's got the start date there. And this is any tasks that are linked to Davina. They will also be on your task list as well. Now from this drop down in the calendar, this is Davina's calendar. So if we click on that, you'll see in there, if I go and put that on a five-day scroll, that you'll be able to see Davina's appointment is in there. Now it's also in your calendar, so my adapt in your calendar here, and it will also book out your time in your Outlook. So in one click, you've set up your interview, it's pre-populated in all these calendars, and it's set up that email to Davina. Now, when it comes to tomorrow's date, you'll get a nice calendar appointment there, and it will tell you that your appointment's due at 10 o'clock. Nice. So coming back down here to our options, once the interview's taken place, you'll come back, and I'm sure you're going to spend a bit of time building that candidate profile. So the kind of things you probably do is we want to update the profile page. Now over to the right hand side, there's an edit button. So in here is where you can go in and pop in that minimum salary. Oh, you don't want to do that. There you go. Be careful with that one. It gets me every time. So clicking over here, put in your minimum salary. If they're also interested in contract work as well, you could put in their minimum day rate. Also looking for if they're looking for a specific role, you could always pop that in there as well. And then you've got a little hot candidate box. This is a lovely feature in the system, and it just means you can create a hot list of all your favourite people or key contractors or perm workers or temp workers. So you can go to a search and then go for hot candidates, and it pulls those best people through first. I love that. I'll show you that in the search bit later on. Now you can put available from in there, so you can put a specific date, or you can put notice period as well. So you can do either or. Popping in that notice period is, let's say, a week. Scrolling down here, are they happy to receive text messages? Yes or no? You've got the option to put a LinkedIn URL in there, which is a really nice feature on the system. Down here, you can see those skills that we looked at earlier have pulled over. And also those job categories, so job titles have also pulled over. Now, since meeting the candidate, if they've got any extra skills in there, you might want to go and pop those in here. So you can go and pop those in. So just go in to click on the line that you want to and go and just type something in there, and then your skills. This will be your list of skills, don't forget, not things like this on there. These are our ones. You can put those in, and same with industry sectors and also job categories. Now, once you've met the candidate, this is when you want to go and put in your profile. So when we say profile, it's very much what would you want to sell, how you sell the candidate to your client. I'm sure you wouldn't put that, but you get the idea. And last thing down here, you'll see all the assignments have pulled through for her previous work history, and they're all past assignments. So I'm going to save that now. So always click on that save button, and we've got some nice key information popped in there. Now, just to show you an example, there's other pages down here you might want to update. So you might want to come down here, go to the compliance page. And if that's important to you guys, you might want to edit in here, come down and say ID, what type of ID have I seen, if you've got to receive that when you register someone. So I can say I saw a driving license and save that. There might be other things like visa types, visa expiries in there again. Really key things for some agencies. It might be for you guys. And also there are things that you can go and search on if you need to as well. Now this page also you can add on checks on here that you might need to do. You might also have reference checks that you need to add in and assessments, but we can go through that properly when you get full training. Now, if I have received ID, I probably want to go and attach that ID to the system. So if I click on the drop down, we've seen tasks, we've seen calendar appointments, and this is where the document library is on each record. So if we click on that, what you're seeing here, this is where you can go and attach anything you want to the record. So this gets rid of all, it makes everything paperless, which is fantastic. So you can see in here, if I've got ID, I can click on Identity folder, go to Add Document at the top, and then forward to Next Step, and then you can just go and browse and find your ID and go and just open and attach it through. You'll notice this is very important to see as well. I've got a CV folder here. Now, if you click on that plus button, that will open that folder up and we can see we already have the original CV in there. Now, and that's over here, so we can open that anytime. Now, we've also got other folders of CVs. Now, we've got the Adapt CV, which we'll go and create shortly, and that will sit in here. So if you ever need to view your full CVs, it will be in your document library over here. Now, other pages you might want to look in is key skills and preferences. So in here, you can go and narrow down qualifications they might have, and it might be quite important with you guys at Electus. They might have to have certain qualifications for certain jobs they're applying for. So you could go and edit and again add those in here. We also have preferred locations they might want to work, or also are they willing to relocate to some of those locations. Last page I'll show you here is the interview page. So this page will always show any internal interviews like the one we've just arranged here to happen tomorrow, and also any client interviews, and these will always say on here, so you can see a full list of all their interview history. Now if you guys are going to use KPIs in the system, it's important to know that you'd always come in at this point and click here and confirm interview attended if the candidates turned up and the interview did take place. So you'd always do that so you can match your KPIs, and again we'll have a little sneaky peek at those later on. So I will just get used to, as you guys are going to go on and test your new system, I get used to doing things like logging your phone calls. You can see on here you can send text messages as well. Nice little functions on here are searching LinkedIn or Googling the person. Now, if I go to General, on the right hand side you'll see there's lots of things in here, and this is where you can go and change things. So you can change the owning consultant by clicking on that and changing the consultant's name in there. Also, at the moment, we've got them as a permanent candidate. If you did want to also say they're interested in contract work, for example, again, Activities General, go to Add Role. And then from here, you can say their default is still permanent, but they're also interested in contract work as well. So just tick that box, confirm. And you'll see they've now got a contract part of their profile. So this just means if I do a permanent candidate search or a contract one, I'll be able to go in and actually find this person. Now, what else should we do on here? So once you've gone and built your profile up, so you go through your different pages and put in your key information in here, what you'll do afterwards is you want to make your customized CV. Now, to do that will be the activities, and then we've got a create CV button here, little sneaky button. So clicking on that pops up this option here, and you can go and select your CV template. Now, currently, I should say CV1 or CV2 or CV3. Yours might be Electus 1, it could be Electus 2, it could be whatever you want it to be. We will rename these for you. So these are going to be your own CVs in here. So once you've selected the CV template you want to use, it will have your lovely borders on, logos, whatever you've got on there. And once we click on OK, what this will do is create your customized CV for you. And if I double click on that, just to show you how it looks, what you'll see here is what it does, it doesn't pull the CV information from the original CV, it pulls it from that lovely profile you've created. So you can see my notice periods in there, my profile notes pull over automatically. Really nice little key thing there. My skills have all pulled over, and also I've got the career history as well. So I can go in and amend things, delete things out from here, pull things over and add things in. and then you can go and save, and then just close it down when you're done, and then finally click on OK. So this is a CV that's going to be customized, and this is the one that you'll send out to your client when they're applying for jobs. So if we now click back onto the profile page and scroll down, you'll see we've got the original CV and the dates created, and also it'll be your Electus customized CV as well. Now, last thing, if we're happy for this candidate to go out and work for us now, is to go and change that status. So we're going to move it from activities down to general and then go to change status. So clicking on that, nice to have a little look through the different status options on here. So you'll see things like working for a competitor, unsuitable, uncontactable. But for now they've registered, we're going to make them active in the system and confirm that. And that's really how you can spend time building up that profile. So have a time spend some time looking through those options, and you'll find that these are the key things you can do, is editing in the system, creating those CVs in there, and updating the key information in those pages as well. Now, that's how you can CV import someone in and create the candidate. What was the other way? So the other way is to manually create a candidate. So to show you where to go for that, I'm going to go to People, and the second drop down is New Candidate. Bit of a giveaway, that one. So I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to leave it with you guys to go and have a practice here. But like I said before, you might have a key candidate who's amazing. They haven't sent their CV yet, but you just need to get them on there. So you do need to complete your mandatory fields. You do need to select what's their default preference. Apart from that, you can pop in their mobile number, nationality, do they want to be text message? You can do all these key things here. Source is a good one. How have you heard about the candidate, or how have they heard about you? And once you've done that, just confirm, and that will create the candidate in the system. Now, don't forget, they'll have no codes in there, no CV. So you either need to attach that in later and start building that profile from scratch. So they're the two ways that you can build the candidate CV or get them onto the system. Now, that's definitely enough to get you guys started. Okay, so the thing we're going to do now is our last bit of our agenda, which is adding on a new client and also a contact that works there. Now I'm going to keep this one quite simple. So let's go to companies first of all. Now you'll see here there's a few different options. There's create head office, create client, or quick client. Quick client is very much related to business development, so I'm not going to focus on that one today. Create a head office is creating a holding company or an umbrella company in the system. It means it's a client record where you can't add on jobs or rates or people. It's just in there to build a hierarchy in the system. So a bit like if you've got Arcadia, they would be the head office, and then the clients below them you would create, those would be Topshop, Miss Selfridge, etc. So if you do have companies you work with that have that kind of hierarchy, I would recommend creating the head office first. But today, to keep it simple, we're just going to go and create the client. So clicking on that, again, you'll see you've got mandatory things you need to go and create in there. I'm going to keep mine simple. You'd put in your first line of address on there. And of course, you can Google all this information. So if there's a new client in that you're sourcing in, you've heard about, you can just go and Google them, put in the key info on there. You do need to put in the client type. So are they a head office or are they a site or subsidiary? I'm going to stick with them being a head office. So you've got contact information, you can put a website in there. And here is where, if you've got a head office already that's going to link to this client, you can go and find that head office record and link it through. But we're going to keep our hierarchy very flat and just create a new client on their own. So once you put in key information, click on confirm. And that is how simple it is to create your client record. So you can see the title here, you can see there a client record over here. And again, like I said before, really familiar things. So this could be add them to a favorite list. So I'm going to be working with them quite a lot, or at least bugging them till they work with me. So I can go and favorite them there. I can edit over here. And I've got key company information, contact details, and you can see candidate ownership over here as well. Sorry, consultant ownership. So you can see my name is connected to all of those because I went and created the record. But as I'm a perm consultant, it could be that there's a temp or contract consultant that deals with them as well. So you can go and click on that button and add in other consultants and work on different desks over here. Now down here we can make key notes about the client once we've met them. We do have our full journal here as well, so this will show all that communication history. And here, once we start adding in contacts that we're working with the client, they will appear on this front page. So let's do that first of all then. So from the first button, you've got to create contact. So I'm going to imagine here that I've heard about a new client there, and either I've got a contact name, so either I've phoned up and got that name, or maybe I've been given some information from somebody else. Maybe it's a referral. So click on Create Contact. Pop in the contact's name, of course. You'll see it already links that record to the client and already pulls through that address for you, so you don't have to go and do that again. Now, don't forget at this point, when you're creating a contact, the way you're going to be communicating to them is on a work email address, so always pop that in. Any telephone numbers, what department does she work in? So we're going to say, pop in our title, and then confirm. Now straight away it's going to pop me straight into the contact record, so we can see Kelly Leach there, and we can see the contact record, so that's the type of record we're in right now. So I'm going to go back to the company record now and just show you how it appears on that front page. So you can see here I've got Shells PLC in there, so it's linking the two together. So if I click on that, the name in blue there, that will take me back to my client level. If we scroll down a bit, we can see now we've got contacts listed here, and we're on the summary page, but if we drop down, we've also got a full contacts page. So you can see them either in here or also over here as well. So key information. Also, our activity shows a contact has now been added and by whom. So I'm going to imagine again, don't forget you can log phone calls in here, but I'm going to say we're now going to go and visit Kelly. So we've spoken to her a few times, and you can go and arrange your client visits again through the system like we saw on my calendar earlier. So if we click on this icon here, we've got visits, go in and arrange your client visit, and it's simple as just clicking on that button. You've got all your key information on here, so all you've got to do again is just go and put in the date, the time you're seeing your contact, and also if you want to send out an email, which you probably will, confirm on that. So it's arranging that visit for you again in your calendar appointments. It's creating that email template, and that will pop up for you as well. So I'm just going to send that off. So nice and simple, you can see I've done that now. So when my appointment, again, that takes place, I can go in, I'll go and see their visit, I'll go and visit Kelly. And hoping it all goes well, I can get a bit more information about the company. So when I do that, I might want to come back and edit on this front screen and just put a couple of key things really. So it could be near a train station, it could be what the key things they're employing. Oh, you don't want to do that. I keep doing that, don't I? There we go. So etc. So just pop in what you need to on that general notes page. Really nice little bit there. And save that once you're done. Now a few things here. So from the drop down, you'll see you've got company information page on the second one down. So it's up to you guys really. It really depends what you want to know here. So you can edit and pop in that key info on the company. Always think it's really nice to put in things like how are you going to set it to the candidate? So what's the holiday entitlement? What is their bonus entitlement? Have they got on-site parking? All these kind of things that people want to know at the start. So go and pop those bits in there as well and save that. Now, just trying to think of a couple of key things for you. You might have an invoice point that you do want to send invoices over to. If that's something you need to know, you'd come to the audit and invoice page. And down here, you can click on create an invoice point. So you can pop that on there. And what that will do is that will just relate any jobs that you create, will send that straight to that invoice point. So if I just create that now, you can see you can put in contact information and also the contact name. So it could be an accounts department. You probably want the email in there. And once you've popped that in, confirm, And you'll see how effective this is later on when we add a job. So clicking next to the invoice point, I can make them a default. There we go. So we'll leave it at that at the client level. Now, you also might want to update things on the contact profile as well. So things that you've learned about Kelly, so the type of job role she employs for, that kind of thing. So if we scroll back to our summary page and scroll down a little bit here, you can click on Kelly's name and that'll take you back into her profile. So you'll see how nice and easy it is to switch between client and contact. There we go, back into Kelly's profile. So once the visit's attended, don't forget you will want to come in here and confirm that the visit was attended. So again, that's a KPI thing, which I'll show you later on. In here, you can make any notes about the visit. And also, if you have arranged another visit date, you can also add that in there and that'll add it to your calendar. So just last couple of things for you guys. I know it's a lot to take in on the first webinar and it's always quite a lot, but it's nice for you to be able to get a lot of info. You can kind of pause this, you can re-listen into it as many times as you want and kind of spend time learning how you can build these profiles up at the start. So you can see on here in the contact bit of information, what I might want to list is recruits for. So she might recruit for certain job roles only. So where you would change this is in the drop down. We've got a leads and skills and preferences section. So you can click on that. And then when you found that information, edit, scroll down, and you can see in there the different job categories that she might work with. So clicking on the black file and opening up those files, we'll be able to see in there the different places she works with. So these are all the different job categories you've got in your system. So just for now, I'm going to pop in, what would you guys work with? Technical. I'm just going to put in there engineer maintenance. So I'll just scroll that to the side. Engineer professional, scroll that over to the side. So using those scroll buttons and okaying, that will list any job categories or job roles that she works with specifically. You can also enter in industry types as well and skills. So I'm going to save that now. And you'll see when we go back to that profile page, or summary page, should I say, that will list that on that front page, which is really nice there. So last thing we'll do on here is we'll go in and you can send terms of business from here. So once you're working with Kelly, everything's gone well, you've agreed terms, you can go from here and send out terms of business. Again, they'll populate an email for you, and once you receive them back and they've all been signed, you can come back and acknowledge that you've received them from here. Now, where you would attach them is you'd go back to the client level, and from that little drop down, again, we've got our key things in there that's in all the record types. We will go to the document library of the client, come to approved T's and C's, and then you just go add document, forward to next step, browse, and then one I prepared for you guys earlier, terms of business. Just go and upload those in and you can see they are attached there. I'm going to go back to my summary page. So I hope that has helped for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. So we've got there, don't forget, we've got our finding people, fast find. We've got quick find over here. You can see once you go into different records, you can go and they'll hover open for you until you go and close those down. So you can have different tabs open while you're working with different people. And we've learned how to build up the candidate profile, add on a new client, and create your contact. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Take care and I'll speak to you soon.